It is Terry Dwayne Ashford. We're coming in with you for you all about you at 10 to 15 Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time here in Washington, D.C. Thursday night. It is May 20th is the date. You're hearing the voice of Terry Dwayne Ashford, your Street Now News. Moving with you. Terry Dwayne Ashford as original broadcast for SNnews. We're coming in, bringing you some updates from the tweet station. Want you to click within the narrative for the tweet station for the day. And there you have it. You're hearing right now the voice of Terry Dwayne Ashford. This particular program was produced by Terry Dwayne Ashford, directed by Terry Dwayne Ashford, was managed by Terry Dwayne Ashford. And the reporting you're hearing right now is that of Terry Dwayne Ashford. The voice you're hearing is that of Terry Dwayne Ashford, as we said before, but also the face on the cover of this particular broadcast is that of Terry Dwayne Ashford. It was delivered to you through a Photoshop done at 10:15 at the time of this particular broadcast. You have to make sure that you know who you're talking to when you're talking to him. I'm Terry Dwayne Ashford here all for you. Grooving with you was a production that was done specifically as background for SNnews. Done for you, with you in mind, by your SNnews chick, Terry Dwayne Ashford. That is me. All for you. A composition by Terry Dwayne Ashford. One of a first. About the music. Now, what we want you to do is we want you to go into the narrative of this particular broadcast and take a look at our latest article. Now, we want to clarify what we meant by that article. Despite what you're reading there, we just want to make sure that you understand what's happening. We had two Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police officers to arrive and to appear to have been trying to intimidate, because they didn't say anything. They just drove up, stashed up right in front of us right there at 14th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. and Madison Street, and then left. They didn't leave. The one in the SUV didn't leave until he saw we were pulling out our camera. We failed to get the police vehicle numbers. Immediately after that, within 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, actually less than 2 minutes, came a Washington, D.C. police cruiser in a car. Now, I'm going to say this. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you have one police, what appears to have been trying to intimidate. You have another police who may have been working on our behalf. From SNnews, Terry Dwayne Ashford, the Jicks perspective, we don't know which is which. We don't know who's doing what. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Now, we don't want to get it wrong. We don't want to get it wrong and have someone who's behind us be labeled as someone who's trying to hurt us. But we don't know over here. We have to protect ourselves. Share with you what we feel that sparked this. For the first time since all this began, I pulled up Facebook and I saw popped up was my nephew, CJ. My nephew, CJ, is my brother. His name is Carlos Ashford. And CJ stands for Carlos Ashford Jr. CJ's Facebook page popped up on my screen, and I started to look at his Facebook page. I started to look down the list there to see other family members. If other family members were there, I was trying to see what was going on. I don't know what in the heck is going on. So I'm trying to see what's going on. And that is when the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police appear to have tried to intimidate. Now, they haven't told me anything. So is anyone ever planning to tell me anything about my family? That is what I want to know. And by what we're seeing, it appears that they were trying to intimidate me to stop me from seeing or researching myself. I want to know what's going on, really. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to take this music off for a minute because we're talking real stuff now. I want to know what's going on, to be honest with you, because honestly, if my family is jailed, I want to know. If my family is not jailed, I want to know. I don't think anybody should have the right to withhold that type of information from me. I don't care if it's a woman. I don't care if it's a man. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're in between. I don't think you have the right to withhold that type of information from someone who needs to know. Now, I do know that I haven't talked to my brother, Carlos Ashford, since 2014. Why would that? These are people who I was raised with. I was raised with those people, my brothers and sisters. Why wouldn't I have talked to him since 2014? Everybody's been telling me, I talked to him, he okay. I talked to him, he okay. Well, why haven't I talked to him? Why is it everything seems so crazy? The person whose Facebook page I was looking at when the police arrived was his son. His son, who was probably 7 or 8 years old when all this began, who's now probably about 19, 20, maybe even 20 years old now. I was looking to see where he is. My nephew looks like me a little bit. I always thought he looked like me versus my brother. I always wondered. If he was me, like me, or if he was my son, because he looked so much like me at the time. I do recall my brother went through some type of in vitro fertilization. I didn't understand why all that was happening. So I'm just wondering. So I was looking at his page, and that is when the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police arrived. I found it bothersome that you're coming around me when there are federal lawsuits that says you should not be coming around me, I have said in other ways that I'm not interested in you in no alley format whatsoever. So, I don't understand why it was coming around me and then it spades off when I pull out the camera. You got something up your sleeve. Don't worry about it. We're ready. We're ready. We're going to take a break now and give you some music. Again, this music you're hearing is composed by Dwayne Ashford, all for you. It's called Grooving with You. The article that we are directing you to comes from our tweet station. And the tweet station that is written entirely by Dwayne Ashford, your SNnews chick. This particular article is entitled, A Judgment When a Police Killing May Have Been Justified. That particular judgment came through Judge Mathis. We actually posted in part that judgment, that a judicial opinion where deadly force may have been justified against a police officer who was something happened there. So, but you read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. The only reason why we're saying that is to send a message to the threatening police officers that you're not beyond your badges. You're not beyond whatever you need. You have those badges to carry out duty, not to harass and not to abuse. And you're especially not going to be abusing someone who can definitely see your abuse just by saying hi. You have no reason to say hi to me when you have a federal lawsuit against you. You have no reason to be running around Dwayne Ashford. Now, I do want to embrace the police officers who are supporting the right things. I do want to embrace, and I want to share with you that the Ashford is a law-abiding family. And that's probably the reason why they got into this situation. They was trying to abide by law, and the law, I believe, was the enforcement that you're seeing right now from Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. They're corrupt. That's what I believe happened. That's what I believe happened, because I know my family would follow the law and the rules of the legal, of doing the right things. Doing the right thing to our family is following the law. So if a law enforcement individual give instructions, we assume that those instructions are by law. Same way as the K Pitt situation, where they asked me to move, and then they came up and said I was against the law. That's a fucking lie. Same way. Same way. But we're not going there. We're not going there. The point that I'm making is that we are law-abiding citizens. About the music. We do not want no corrupt cop running in the alleys, doing things they're not supposed to be doing, running behind Dwayne Ashford. We just don't want it. We don't need it. We don't want you anywhere around us, to be honest with you. And that's just been straight up with you. We're now going to take you to a headline across the nation up in New York. New York Post is reporting that there was a huge backlash, huge demonstration that targeted the New York City's Diamond District with fists and with fireworks. That's coming from your New York Post. A pro-Israel demonstration targeted New York City's Diamond District with fists and with fireworks. Now, again, it's this particular report update on the Israel-Hamas fighting is coming to you from SNnews. Dwayne Ashford on Thursday night. It's now 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and here New York Post has pictures of people fighting right there in New York City, the Diamond District. And they look like they're throwing blows right there in New York. Let's look and see how much time we have to give you more information on this story. We have a little time here, so let's go ahead and give you a little information on this story. Now, this story was written by Larry Salina and Tamar Lapia. Now, those are the writers, the New York Post writers, on the story that was issued at 8:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 20th. The protesters clashed and fireworks sent people running near Times Square. Today, Thursday, tensions in the region spilled into the streets of Manhattan. Videos show, they have videos there. Skirmishes between the groups erupted in the Midtown tourist hub as Israel and Hamas hope to cease fire in Gaza. Hope that would end more than 10 days of devastating hostilities.